It was supposed to be a routine interview. The CNN primetime segment titled Presidential Voices, looking ahead to 2028, had booked former President Donald Trump for what producers hoped would be a calm but candid conversation. Host Daniel Reed, a senior political correspondent known for his sharp tone and bold questions, had prepared meticulously. Little did he or anyone in the studio expect the firestorm that was about to unfold. The set was sleek, dramatic lighting casting deep shadows across the navy blue backdrop. Trump entered the studio with his usual theatrical flair, flanked by aides, smirking at the camera as the audience gave a half-hearted clap. Dressed in a dark suit with his signature red tie, he adjusted the mic and sat across from Reed with a smug look. "Reed, Mr. President, thank you for joining us. Let's start with the recent developments in the Georgia election case." Trump raised a hand abruptly, his expression already turning combative. Trump: Daniel, let me stop you right there. That case is a witch hunt. You know it. I know it. Everyone watching knows it. Fake news garbage. Reed blinked but didn't flinch. The producers behind the glass exchanged looks. They knew Trump would be edgy, but this was page one. Reed: "Well, respectfully, Mr. President, the indictments." Trump: "Indictments? You mean Democrat fantasies? They're scared of me, Daniel. Terrified, because they know I'm coming back." He leaned closer to the mic. His voice dropped in tone, laced with veiled hostility. "Trump, let me tell you something. CNN should be ashamed. You've lied about me for years. Russia hoax, impeachment hoax, stormy nonsense. You pushed it all." Reed smiled tightly. "We report, Mr. President Trump. You manipulate. Big difference." Camera 2 panned in for a close-up. Trump's eyes were narrowed, jaw tense. The tension in the room was no longer subtle, it was volcanic. The control room director whispered into the earpiece of the segment producer, "Keep rolling." "This is gold." Reed pivoted, unfazed. He wasn't going to let Trump run the show. Reed: "Let's talk about January 6th. Do you accept any responsibility for the chaos at the Capitol that day?" The words hit the table like a dropped grenade. Trump's chair creaked as he leaned forward sharply. Trump: "Absolutely not. That's on Pelosi. That's on the weak leadership in D.C. And you're pathetic for pushing that narrative." Reed's pen tapped once against his notepad. Calm, measured. Reed: "But your tweet, 'Be there, will be wild,' was interpreted by many as a call to action." Trump, mocking: "Oh, interpreted by many? Wow, that's journalism now, huh? Interpretations and feelings." He turned to the camera, pointing directly at it. Trump: "Listen, America, they don't want you to hear the truth. They want to distract you with lies. This guy," gesturing at Reed, "he's a professional liar. CNN is a disgrace." Reed didn't break eye contact. "Sir, this isn't a campaign rally." Trump shouting, "Then don't act like a DNC mouthpiece." Gasps echoed in the control room. A camera operator adjusted nervously, trying to stabilize the shaky shot from the jarring energy in the room. Reed, dryly: "Do you always respond to basic questions with name-calling and conspiracy theories?" Trump: "Only when I'm talking to fake news clowns like you." Boom, it landed. Reed's mouth opened slightly in surprise. Not at the insult itself, but the sheer audacity on live national television. Reed: "Do you believe insulting journalists strengthens democracy?" Trump: "No, Daniel. I believe exposing liars does." The studio was dead silent for a beat, then a cough, then a nervous shuffle of a producer's chair. Trump leaned back, satisfied, arms crossed. For a moment, it looked like he had taken control. But Reed wasn't done. Reed, you've claimed the 2020 election was stolen, yet no credible court has upheld those claims. Why continue to spread a narrative that undermines public trust? Trump's face changed. It wasn't just anger now. It was rage. Trump cut his mic. Seriously, this is a disgrace. This is a setup. You people are disgusting. He turned toward the producers behind the glass, gesturing wildly. Trump, I came here thinking you'd be fair. But this is Soviet-level propaganda. Reed, we're live, Mr. President Trump. To the camera. Good. Let the people see how corrupt these snakes are. He slammed his palm on the table, making the mic rattle. Reed calmly adjusted his notes. Trump, shouting, "You're trying to make me look bad." Reed, "You're doing that just fine yourself." And that was it. The crowd of crew and behind-the-scenes staff visibly stiffened. One intern gasped audibly. Trump snapped his head toward Reed, face red. Trump, I have built more than you will ever understand. And you, nobody knew who you were before I walked in here. Reed, flatly. And yet you agreed to be interviewed. The segment was spinning out of control. The floor manager signaled a cut to commercial, but the control room hesitated. This was too raw, too explosive, too viral. Trump, to the crew, you think you're going to edit this? I dare you. I dare you to cut this footage. Reed, Mr. President, if you're done, we can wrap it here. Trump stood up suddenly, knocking over his water. It spilled across the desk and dripped near a mic cable. Trump, this network is done, you hear me? Done. He stormed off camera. A stagehand moved to wipe up the spill. Reed sat calmly, eyes forward, microphone still hot. Reed to camera. That was former President Donald Trump. Make of that what you will. Fade to black. The CNN interview was scheduled for a modest midweek time slot. But by midnight, the clip of Trump storming off and screaming at Daniel Reed had already been viewed 27 million times on YouTube and 34 million on X, formerly Twitter. The hashtag #Trump Meltdown trended worldwide within hours. Memes exploded across social media. Trump's slamming of the table became a TikTok soundbite overnight. CNN's official YouTube channel was flooded with comments. He's unhinged. That's not a leader. Reed held his ground like a pro. Massive respect. Trump just gave the libs all the ammunition they need. CNN baited him, and he took the bait. Cable news entered full spin mode. Fox News ran a late-night special titled The Media's Latest Ambush, where anchors accused CNN of deliberately provoking Trump. On MSNBC, Rachel Maddow called it a masterclass in journalistic restraint under pressure. But it wasn't just the media. Politicians weighed in. Lindsey Graham called it regrettable but understandable given the harassment Trump faces daily. Mitt Romney tweeted bluntly, "A man unfit for public office just showed us why, again." Behind the scenes, Trump's team was scrambling. His senior advisor, Jason Miller, was reportedly furious that the campaign hadn't insisted on a pre-approved list of questions. Trump himself retreated to Mar-a-Lago and refused all calls for 36 hours. Inside CNN, Reed became an overnight star and a lightning rod. He received death threats, praise, hate mail, and offers to join other networks. One cable exec allegedly offered him $4 million to defect to a new media startup. Meanwhile, CNN's legal team prepared for a potential lawsuit from the Trump team over defamation by editing, even though the interview aired uncut and live. But just as the firestorm seemed to peak, a new piece of footage surfaced, and it poured gasoline on the flames. At 11:42 p.m. the next night, a 60-second backstage clip was leaked anonymously to the platform Truth Hawk, a fringe but viral political leak site. The footage showed Trump screaming at a CNN producer in the moments after storming off set. In the dimly lit hallway behind the studio, Trump is seen throwing off his mic pack, red-faced, pacing like a cornered animal. Trump on camera. "Get me a damn phone. I want Zucker on the line. You think I won't burn this whole network down?" Producer off screen. "Sir, we don't work for Mr. Zucker anymore." Trump. "You're all rats. Every last one of you. You'll be nothing when I'm back in power. You understand that? Nothing." Aide nervously. "Mr. President, we should go. Cameras are still hot." Trump. "Let them roll. Let America see what you snakes do behind closed doors." The video ends abruptly with Trump pushing open a studio door, nearly slamming it into a lighting tech. The clip went viral instantly. Mainstream media pounced. The Washington Post headline the next morning read, "Unfiltered Fury, Trump's off-camera tirade leaks. Even GOP allies back away." CNN issued a statement confirming the authenticity of the video, but claiming it had no knowledge of how it was leaked. Trump's campaign, in turn, accused the network of planting hidden cameras in a coordinated political operation. But the damage was done. Several GOP senators began to distance themselves from Trump publicly. Senator Tim Scott told reporters, "We need a leader who doesn't combust under pressure." Nikki Haley, trying to maintain an edge for her own presidential ambitions, said, "Temperament matters." Even MAGA loyalists online appeared divided. Some doubled down in defense, claiming the footage was deep-faked or doctored. Others admitted Trump looked unhinged. Meanwhile, Reid was scheduled to appear on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert to tell his side of the story. 2 days later, Donald Trump called an emergency press conference from Mar-a-Lago. It was heavily hyped by his team as a moment to correct the record and expose media corruption. But what followed only deepened the spiral. The ballroom was filled with right-wing media, a few mainstream outlets, and a handful of loyal supporters. Trump entered to a standing ovation from his inner circle, but the expression on his face was far from triumphant. He launched into a 15-minute rant without notes, touching on everything from media tyranny to deep state surveillance. Then came the unexpected. Trump. "They say I lost control. They say I melted down. But what do you do when you're being lied to over and over again?" He slammed his fist on the podium. Camera zoomed in. Trump. "They want me to be calm while they crucify me on national TV. Daniel Reid is a liar, a puppet, and when I'm back in the White House, he won't have a job anywhere in America." Gasps, audible murmurs. A reporter from Reuters stood up. "Are you threatening members of the press, sir?" Trump pointed directly at her. Trump. "I'm warning them." Not threatening, big difference. His campaign manager reportedly begged the team backstage to cut the live stream. They refused. Trump was unraveling live. Then came the moment that sealed the story for history books. Trump shouting, "You want me to be polite while they accuse me of crimes I didn't commit? I don't do polite. I do truth." He removed the mic from his lapel and threw it across the stage. "Good luck spinning this one," he growled, storming out again. Every major news outlet cut to analysis within seconds. MSNBC's Chris Hayes said, "That wasn't a press conference. That was a psychological collapse. By morning, even some former Trump staffers were calling it the end of the campaign in all but name. Over the next 72 hours, America was glued to the fallout. Late-night hosts mocked the meltdown relentlessly. Jimmy Kimmel dubbed the mic throw the Trump tantrum heard round the world. Saturday Night Live announced a special sketch dedicated solely to the CNN interview. But more seriously, think pieces flooded the press. Is this the end of Trump's iron grip on the GOP? Politico, unfit and unfiltered, when a leader goes too far. The Atlantic. The power of a calm journalist, why Daniel Reed became a national hero. NPR polls reflected a shift. Trump's favorability rating dropped 9 points in 3 days, the steepest fall since the January 6th Capitol riot. Among independents, 63% called the CNN interview disqualifying. But Trump's diehard base remained. At a rally in Alabama, supporters wore shirts that read, "I don't do polite, I do truth." The crowd cheered the mic-throwing moment as a sign of real leadership. Still, Republican strategists whispered what many already feared. The meltdown had created a media disaster no amount of spin could undo. And in living rooms across America, the image stuck. A former president, unhinged, shouting into a microphone, while a calm journalist sat across from him, quietly holding the line. As Daniel Reed told Colbert in his closing line, "Sometimes the biggest act of resistance is just letting someone destroy themselves while the camera rolls." Fade to black.